So let's talk about payment and token as use for payment. So in traditional crypto projects, tokens are the required means of transaction in the network. And that has been the main kind of primary use case for tokens historically. And I think that has been the narrative around that has been that if you use a token for payment, then it drives demand for the token and ultimately appreciation. I think that has yet to really be proven. If you use the token for payment, you can buy it right before payment and sell. And if you're receiving it, sell it right afterwards. And if you're not really long-term bullish on that token or have a business model that involves holding it, you can transact very quickly in these tokens, usually in large projects without too much friction. And so I think what you ultimately see is volume. If you got scale in use, you'd see volume in token trading, but not necessarily a long-term sustainable demand for that token. And so we think if you require a token for payment on the network, you actually, particularly in the DePIN space, where a lot of your customers are not going to be crypto native, you will reduce the demand for your service and just put up barriers to use. We think that there's the benefit of requiring a token is in no way offset by the reduction in demand and the friction you will provide to your customers who would like to adopt your service. And so what we recommend and have seen plenty of models adopt is a fiat front end where customers can either use a bank account, a credit card, or a wire to use the service. So they can actually use fiat to use these services and may not even know the tokens are in the background. Importantly, though, the service also probably should be priced in fiat. So you can forecast pricing. I think this has been a big criticism of traditional crypto projects where gas fees have moved up dramatically and then crashed dramatically. And so if you're an institution and a business trying to forecast out and budget your use of a particular product, you cannot do that in a volatile currency. And so businesses have tough time pricing international with euros and dollars and yen and those currencies, let alone really volatile cryptocurrencies. Well, we think the really successful DePIN projects will actually not only have a fiat front end to accept fiat with tokens in the background, but the service will actually be priced in fiat with tokens in the back. And we've seen a number of projects do this, whether it's Helium or Demo or GeoNet or IONET. A lot of those projects take fiat and then the actual service is priced in it in USD so that it is very predictable and usable. And I think that is what is going to drive adoption of DePIN is this very sort of realistic view of what is easier for business to use, what's easier for adoption, and that is what will allow DePIN to scale. And what we see is the pricing in US dollars and with a fiat front end is what is really going to drive adoption. And successful projects are already implementing that. And is those that will be able to scale with the token working in the back end and being entirely transparent to customers who won't care or even necessarily even know that there's a token in the background that's actually running behind the scenes, making these, basically enabling the entire service. That's the future we see for DePIN.